Hello, everyone. Welcome to this PhD Live. I am Dr. Mariana Pintado Zurita. I did a PhD in film and television studies, and I am from Mexico City. So, today I want to talk about doing a PhD as an international student, which I believe it's the same as for any other student, although sometimes this can be or seem squared because we face some other challenges and difficulties that we might not face if we had lived in this country all our lives. So, to talk about this, I want to divide it into sections. First, the personal and the professional. I want to start with the personal because our personal life will always impact our professional life, which is something that I encourage you to keep in mind. So, first, the cultural shock. This might be something that you are already familiar with, which is the shock of arriving at a strange place, at a new place where we don't know how things work and we need to figure it out. It's good to keep in mind that this will be a process where we might start with a honeymoon phase where everything is new and exciting and different. And we might change to then a stage of anxiety because things are not as easy as we first thought. But then we will eventually adapt and accept our, our situation here. I also want to say this could be a cultural lag. So, this is to say that we won't all adapt at the same pace, or it might take us some time to adapt to this new place. But be patient, be kind to yourselves, and keep in mind that eventually we will find our place. Then the day to day. So, as an international student, things that we might have taken for granted become more complicated. So, finding groceries, the food might probably is different here than it was back home, or figuring out how the transport works, and even getting our medicines. It's a very different system here than it could have been back home. We can face things like seasonal depression if you are from like a warm climate like me. Maybe the winters can become more difficult and it's difficult to live your day-to-day life during that time. So, what to do about this? I advise to give yourself time to figure out what works for you for your day-to-day life, where to buy stuff, how to move around. Take care and pay attention to your health. That is always very important, because it will impact all the rest of your studies and your day-to-day life. Then I also want to talk about finding friends and a support system. So, being away from the people you know can make you feel isolated. And meeting new people and making new friends can be difficult. So, what to do about this? I would advise you to give yourself time, but put effort in it. Sometimes it takes effort and to leave your comfort zone to meet new people from a different place. It is very important to create a support system around you, and it can take some time to find your PhD community, but you will eventually. Now, I want to talk about something difficult to talk about, which is money. Again, this is a difficult topic to talk about, but it's important to consider it. As international students, we can be impacted by, for example, currency changes if you have a scholarship or funding from your home country, and the currency changes it can impact your income from one month to the other. So, what I would advise you to do is I very much advise to save some money for your final year when things can become a little bit more difficult. Now, I know that it might be difficult to get the money in the first place, so some options can be to get GTA work, to have a part time or remote job, psychology experiments, or the university's hardship fund, which is very useful. Now, being away from home can also be difficult. So, if you're feeling homesickness or you lost your sense of security, It can be difficult to miss important occasions happening back home. So, what to do about it is to acknowledge that this is hard, be kind to yourself, and find support either long distance with your family and friends, with your close friends here in the university, or some counseling can also be very helpful. Now, I want to change to the professional. So, as international students, the stakes of doing your PhD might seem even higher. This is because you left your life behind for this one project for your PhD, and this can have an impact on your mental health. So, what I advise you to do is to find a balance between taking care of yourself and your work, and it always helps to talk. Again, also with your friends, family, or seeking counsel. Then you can also feel a sense of professional lag where you might come from a different education system or you need to catch up on some knowledge. But I want to stress that as an international student, you also bring very valuable knowledge and experience. Things that you bring from home and from your own personal life can be very, very valuable to your research. So don't discard those. Now, writing in your second language can also be very hard. We can face language barriers and it can take more time to write while we look a word in the dictionary. So, what you can do about this is first, also be kind to yourself. It's hard enough to do a PhD in your first language, and the fact that you're doing it in a second language is even harder. So, be proud of yourself and be kind to yourself. You can also use tools like Grammarly, which I have found to be very helpful, Quillbot, and others. And there's always support from leads from the university, which are also very helpful. Now, this might be a bit too soon to mention, but it's good to keep in mind. What happens in the end? Well, when you finish your PhD, you will be facing a stage of uncertainty where you might be wondering if to go back to your country or stay here. And if you do, finding a job as an immigrant can be very, very hard. So, what can you do? I advise you to cross that bridge when you get there. Don't worry too much about it if you don't have to yet, but get information of what you will need. And this will be very helpful and we will help it can help you navigate it when you get there. A good option also is to prepare for the graduate route visa, which gives you 3 more years for staying legally in the country after doing a PhD. So find out about the fees, about the requirements, and this can be a very good option for you. And finally, be always proud of what you've done, of how far you've come. And yeah, like even if you finished your journey here, you've already achieved a lot. So be always proud of yourself and enjoy having this experience, knowing new places and new people. Thank you very much.